You're honored to be here.
All right, welcome everybody. And what do we call this? Our grand finale, the grand tamale,
A great celebration.
the great celebration, the ending and a beginning, all of that. So we can call it whatever you want, but I have a little thing to read to kind of set the mood for today. I got this as a newsletter from a local shaman or Shaw woman as it is. Her name is also Lena. She lives in Santa Fe. And she sends this out on the new moon, full moon, etc. And so yesterday was the solstice, summer solstice. And that happened at 3:12 a.m. Mountain Time. Anyway, she says, this is a powerful time that marks a transition, a new beginning, the release of the old, and a reset that supports a turning point. Honor something in your life that is ending and something new that marks a beginning. Focus on a completion, even a small one, that can symbolize a larger cycle of change. What is being released from the past? Or question mark, what is being released from the past? Honor a new beginning by making a change, even a small one, of something in your environment as a reflection of the larger picture. Bring in something new, try something new, and do something you've never done before. It is important to create some kind of ritual for yourself around this solstice by symbolizing an ending as well as a new beginning. So I just thought that was really so well said. I couldn't have done better to say exactly what I wanted today. And I didn't really even, I'm very attuned to dates. Sometimes I forget how much so. So when I just looked at the calendar, I just picked today. I didn't know it was the solstice. I didn't pay attention that it was the 22nd. And just like later on kind of all these things started clicking. I'm like, yeah. That's why it's perfect, because 22 years in the business, 22 is a number of mastery. It's 2022 and it's the 22nd. So ding, ding, ding. Hitting on all the sacred numbers. So, so let's see, let's just do a quick centering exercise. I think that would be a nice way to bring our energies together. And as we sit together in our virtual living room, we have many experiences that we have had together. Some we've had a few, some we've had a lot. Some it's been a short period of time, some it's been a long period of time. And regardless of where our paths have intertwined, it was a gift that each of us received. And today I just like to center our energies and our focus is an appreciation for each of you to come and help me celebrate as I close this door of this part of my journey. And as always, when one door closes, another one opens. And so I'm excited. I know of one door that is open. I'll share about that, but I know there's many more that will open as well. And I know that by virtue of like attracts like, probably this is ringing true for you as well. So let's just all celebrate our endings and beginnings today. And with that, we take a deep breath. And let it go. And one more deep breath. And let that go. And one more deep breath. And so it is. And step back into the call when you are ready. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Juwani. There's Julia's beautiful face. Everybody, looks like more coming, so that's fun. Ronnie Ryan is showing up. So this is kind of also I need to just say that once a month for the last year, more or less, I can't remember exactly how long I've been doing, but I'm doing a inner circle for sacred synchronicity. And so some people are here because you were in that circle, and some people are here because they did the certification, strategic attraction certification program. So we're just kind of bringing all these various communities together today. So who would like to share what brought you here today? And maybe when you share something you're completing, maybe if you have something you would like to just declare, I'm completing on that, or ending, it's an ending for me. And what's your new beginning, or you're just, it's really an open agenda. So if you need something to get you going, that will help. So.
Well, I'll say it just so happens. I mean, I'm just here because I like the experience, but I actually got off of another class to come in here. So I hope whatever you're doing is a really great appreciation in your life, and you'll enjoy that very much. And it just so happens that I have a sort of an ending now, because I've been off of work for about, like, let's see, maybe a year and a half. I don't know, mid-COVID, whatever that was, one or 2.5 years. And so I was hoping to do something different and go into in business for myself. And I didn't do that. I didn't make that happen. And so now I'm going to go back to work. And it was something I didn't want to do, but it's going to be hard, and it's going to be a harder job than I did before. But I'm just going to look at it with the loss of freedom. I'm going to balance it with the extra effort that I'm going to put into, being a person who keeps their energy raised, who is able to learn and able to think clearly. I'll have to be better on my diet, better with exercise, better attitude. I'll have to condition myself and lift myself up in all these ways in order to go through this new experience. I don't know whether I'll like it or not, or how long it'll last, but I'm sure that will be good for me. And then if that is a difficulty, and if it doesn't suit me and it's over, when that's over, and in a few years, I'll be that much more powerful to go on and do whatever it is I do like. So I think that will be good.
Yeah, so it's like a step in the right direction. Nice. Julia.
Hey.
Hey.
I'm doing a little 21-day spiritual journey thing with Satya Linda Grace.
Oh,
now.
wow. Wow.
And it started on Saturday, and part of it is doing these morning meditations and this and that. And so what it tells me very simple messages. My messages are really simple. One of the first message was listen to your heart. I was like, okay, that's pretty simple. And then the second one was do art. And don't let art get pushed aside. And so I realized, like, also one of my coaches said, your art is good. I don't know why you don't just do that. And I was like, oh no, there's reasons I don't just do that. They're all internal head tripping type reasons. So, so that's the message. So it's not exactly new. But it's a willingness, let's call it a new willingness to give it like serious focus.
Mm.
So I have a website for it. It's not quite finished. And it's attached to like print on demand, so they can get anything they want on it, almost anything. And just so that sense of the thing that's been on the back burner needs to have a real serious place to thrive and to be what it's supposed to be, to not just be like this little side thing.
I hear you.
I mean, I'm doing a lot of other stuff. I've been doing programs like they're coming out and going out of style.
I know.
And
Gosh,
that's really, really fun for me, but it doesn't require my entire focus of my life energy.
mm.
So,
I read somewhere, or somebody told me this, that I'm reminded of, when the soul wants something, it knows no obstacle. It's
right.
like soul is gonna push through any
It's gonna
obstacle.
figure out a way.
It's gonna figure out a way. It's gonna close the other doors. It's gonna on and on. You can figure out
Right. I'd
what.
rather have, I'd rather do it myself. I did watch my father, just not be a writer while he really wanted to be a writer, and then getting too old to really function as a writer anymore. Like he didn't know that that was going to happen, but he couldn't focus the same way as he could, or even, type as easily. And I looked at that and I was like, what are you waiting for, for everything? Like, what are you waiting for? And he said, procrastination is painful when you're old.
Mm,
It's like it actually hurts to procrastinate.
mm.
So those are they're simple messages. We all know this stuff.
I think that's what my hip's telling me.
Yeah, right? It tells us
Move
these
forward, move forward, and I'm like, okay, okay.
Otherwise you're just sitting there, right?
Yeah.
Paralyzed and unable to. I definitely know there are things that I just have been afraid to commit to because I was afraid no one would be interested.
Mm.
But that's always been the case.
Well,
It's
correct
like
me if
it's
I'm
not.
wrong, but didn't your artistic ability surface at a SACAT retreat in New Mexico?
Well, we did. We had, what I used to do is like one painting a year, you know, that's, I would relegate myself. So like something like a retreat, I would do a little painting. When I was on Dead
Hold
Tour
on one
back in
second.
the 90s.
I want to just interrupt for people. I want to just clarify because we're using SACAT and there's also STAR, but some people here have not done that certification path
Well,
with.
way back in 2005, 2006 or something. 2005, I think we started.
So the SACAT that was an acronym for Strategic Attraction, Coaching and Training. Yeah.
Coaching and training.
It was the very first certification program.
The very first one
Julia was part of
Alpha people.
Yeah, there was an alpha, but Julia was in the very.
I was in the beta. We went to Texas.
Yeah.
I was afraid to go to Texas. I was like, oh my God,
I remember.
Texas.
Yeah, those cowboys.
You put it at a wolf retreat place, a wolf preservation, and there were 17 wolves there, and they healed me from my migraine that I got. And they came into the room and healed me. It was a really powerful experience. Those wolves were incredible.
I didn't even know there was a wolf sanctuary next to the retreats. But, synchronicity, sacred synchronicity.
It was, I mean, they would wake up and start howling at the sunrise.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was, and we did 5 days or something, you know. I mean, we did like 5 days of the attraction plan. And it really brought it home that you could do like a 5 day. I mean, you think you could do the attraction plan in 5 minutes, which you can, but you could do it in 5 days too.
Mhm.
There's enough, I mean, it just expands to whatever is available.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Thanks for being on the journey.
yeah, it's been, I mean, it's still going. Sorry, there's Lester. It's still going. Still the impact from those things still goes.
Yeah.
That's a perfect segue if I can jump in.
Please.
It keeps going, and that reminds me of the hero's journey is always drawn in a circle. Because when you get to any, there's always the next. When you come back to community, then you go back out again. You kind of, it's just this circle, and this is the sacred synchronicity circle. And so I came to be present to see how you close something that has no beginning and no end. I'm just grateful to be part of it, to be present, to witness you as a SACAT graduate and as a Sacred Synchronicity Circle participant. And you have been such an incredible example of what a lighthouse looks like. And lighthouses get hit by lots and lots of storms. I saw a picture today of a man in 1949 that got hit in France by this tidal wave around this lighthouse, and he survived this incredible wave. And I just think about all the light that you have shown and all the ships that have gotten safely into harbor because of your light, and just honored to be in presence of you.
Thank you, Mark.
Love you.
Appreciate that. Very, very true.
Next, the first thing that popped into my head about what's ending is allowing the heartbreaks I've had in my life, which I got reminded of a lot last year. Because I had a lot of death in my family last year, and it brought up a lot of my own grieving for other losses, and including how much my life has changed in the last 2.5 years after moving back to Connecticut and balancing the part of my life that's helping my mom and helping caretake her, as well as trying to build a business here during COVID and all of that stuff. So I was feeling this, and then Jan and I had a conversation in May that helped me feel this, as she was feeling my heart breaking open. And I just realized that I've allowed a painful heart to stop me from pursuing more of what I want. So the beginning part is allowing my heart to guide what I choose to do and not to do. For instance, I'm going to be joining my local BNI group as soon as I really program it in my body that it's okay to have to be at a meeting at 7 o'clock in the morning every single week. And instead of joining as a chiropractor, I'm going to join as a wellness facilitator. So instead of pegging that small hole that I've been doing for 32 years, which is this much of, it's kind of like what Julia was saying. I loved what you said, Julia, about, what fulfills like the whole expression of my soul instead of just part of it. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And the other thing is, a very exciting thing happened today, and Jen, we talked about this too. I have a guy in my life who I've known since I was 11, who was my first love. We didn't even live in the same state, and we met at summer camp, and we're still connected after 49 years. And he now lives in Minnesota, and he just texted me Monday and said, his family is in Vermont. So I'm actually getting together with him and his mom for lunch today, and then I'm gonna go up and spend some time with him this weekend. So it's like, so that's an open heart thing for me, because I mean, to stay connected after that long, when I mean, literally, we fell in love when we were 11. We were together 2 weeks a year, and we wrote to each other for 3 or 4 years, every couple weeks. So we've always been super connected. So, and it's been a long time since I've been in a relationship or engaged with a man at all. So just, that's a reopening of my heart too. So
Awesome.
I'm excited about that.
Isn't that funny how those things happen?
Yeah, yeah.
Welcome,
Excited.
Martina, by the way. She just joined, so good to see you.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, just double checking on that. It's been a long time doing Zoom, so.
Anyway,
Hi.
Christina, anything else you want to
Yeah,
share?
I just
Anything you want to
wanna-
share about the being in, about strategic attraction?
Oh, it's
Anything
been
like
such a
that?
joyful journey, and it's been so much fun, and I've been involved in one way or another, either in programs or just, Jan is my best friend from Santa Fe, so we became super close from it. I got one of my BFFs from it, so it's helped me so much, and I'm in a place where I need this again too. That's why I was like, oh, I'm so glad I could make the call of how much power I have to really create my life by what's truly resonant for me, and reminding me that I have the choice to say yes or no to things, or say, have a simple tool to look inside myself and say, oh, this is where I'm hitching myself up. So it's meant so much to me, and I've met some of the greatest human beings on the planet through this program as well, many of whom are in this room. And I just appreciate it so much. It's meant a lot to me. It's been a lighthouse for me and I started, I don't know, Jan, not long after you moved to Santa Fe, whenever that was.
Yeah.
The late O's, I think.
I think 2009,
Yeah, I think that's when I started with the Wizard program.
the Wizard program, right?
Julia
Yeah,
was there.
renditions of programs. It's been
Yes.
22 years.
Yeah, so my first one, you went from SACAT to Wizard, then back to SACAT.
Yeah.
We used to make wands. Remember making wands, Julia, you at that retreat, Julia? Annie, were you at that retreat? I don't think, was Annie there? No, I didn't meet you till later. So.
Where's my bee? I should have brought my little bee bobbers. Mm.
Love all your wands, Julia.
Yeah.
Yeah, so lots of good memories. Wizard, wands, bees. Yes.
Yeah. Love it.
I had so many bees, wands, lighthouses around the house. One day I was like, this is a lot, I mean, it's like, you can imagine at a retreat, somebody like 10 people give you a thing, and you have a bunch of retreats, and they're all, I wanted to see all of them. So I had all these tchotchkes around the house. So one day I just put them all in a container and I donated them to one of the places, thrift stores. I don't know what they're going to do with them, but I'm like, those send some good energy back out. But, well, anybody else like to share something? And I know that, listening, and if you weren't part of the early tribal areas, might be kind of boring, but it's really great energy. So I'm glad you're here. Let's hear from Annie. She raised her hand. And I need to hear from John. He's like, thinking.
You're on mute.
Unmute, Ann.
I'm sorry. I found in the middle of the night when I wasn't sleeping, I found this poem I wrote in 2015 that I wanted to share. It really still says who I am and the spiritual journey I'm on. Who are you being as you do what you do while caring for others who's caring for you? What if you stop trying to hide who you are? As people start seeing you, you can go far. Farther than anywhere you've been before, all you have to do is open the door. Open the door as opportunity comes knocking. Continue to clear all the things that are blocking the joy and abundance you really desire. The love in your heart that sets you on fire.
Mm.
You know, I
That's beautiful, Anne.
thank
When
you.
did you write that?
2015.
Okay.
I've been on this journey all that time.
Wow.
And I literally got knocked upside the head. I literally fell on my eyeball. And I had to have emergency eye surgery, and my vision is limited and my feet are swollen. And I think both of those things are metaphysical for what aren't you seeing, what aren't you moving forward with. Literally, Mark, I was debating whether I was going to show up today for the directory meeting and what would I say. And I had a couple of sessions with a coach I met through some virtual events where they give you a free set 15 minutes, and she suggested to me that I stop and take care of my health and not pursue business. But she didn't. She said, I didn't say quit. I said slow down. And I was telling Julie the other day, I think I've been going at a sloth rate anyway. So how much more slow down can I get? But when you think that this has been in the making since 2015, really. But what I concluded was that I am on a spiritual journey, and what I will share eventually is about self-love and spirituality. And so my top focus will be about spirituality and my spiritual growth. And move forward and try again, I guess, or keep going, not try, maybe that's all I've been doing is trying, but move forward anyway. So that's me.
It's like that lighthouse that Mark mentioned, how many storms the lighthouse has to endure, and it still keeps on keeping on. So
Yes, and some of you know Barry, and I was at Barry Alcatel does work on eyes and vision and life, eye vision, life vision, and I heard him talk not long ago, and he was like, your eyes are connected to your emotions and your feelings, and I'm like, oh boy. There's something in that too.
oh my God, I forgot about that. I haven't,
Yeah,
I've had tears streaming from my eyes for weeks. And of course, we've had all this dry air and smoke from fires. But yeah, I knew part of it was emotional, for sure.
Yeah, and I've stuffed my feelings a long time, and I'm learning to open up to those. I've been a couple of years ago, I banged my head and didn't think anything of it. This time I was like, what is the universe trying to tell me that I, not been paying attention to? So I have to get whacked upside the head, So yeah. I'm opening up to what those messages are.
Right.
And I have good news that I'm going to have surgery again, and that the vision should be clearing. So on July 7th.
So how has being part of this community supported you?
Oh, Jan, it's indescribable. It's all the love and support here and acceptance for who I am, and the cheering on, and it's been wonderful for me to have this community.
Nice.
Very grateful.
Yeah.
Dear friends here, and
No.
yeah.
Dear friend.
Thank you.
Well, I think I'm going to share because I think some people may need to leave early and I wanted to, we'll do some more sharing in a minute from each of us. But I kind of wanted to just give you the lowdown and where Jan is, you know, like where's Waldo, where's Jan? And I also wanted to acknowledge that I feel Alan's presence. When Annie said cheering on, I just heard, you know, world's greatest cheerleader, you know, see you around the campus, you know. So I think he's very present. And of course, when he passed away in 2017, you know, it just, my world was just never the same. You know, the business was never the same. And I tried to carry on, you know, so I've tried a lot of things. I had a lot of storms over the last, it'll be 5 years in August. Hard to believe, but during those 5 years, we've had COVID, you know, it's like, wasn't just my storm, the world had some storms too. So anyways, I have been soul searching a lot, you know, like what am I supposed to do? And I just noticed that there were just certain things I just couldn't do anymore. I just couldn't. I try to make myself, and I can't make myself. That's when I know I need to make a change. And a couple of weeks ago, when I sent out the first email, it really, I mean, this was like, I've been thinking about it for quite a while, letting the business go. And then one day it's like, I'm done. I was talking to a girlfriend on the phone. I said, I think today's the day. I'm just letting it go today. So I sent out the email. She said on the phone when I wrote the first email and I sent it out. And I'm like, okay, I guess we need to do one more call. So instead of the Inner Circle monthly call, we'll have this be the last call. And I'll send out notices. I didn't send out a lot of notices, really. I just felt like whoever was supposed to be here would be here. Anyway, and so I felt like, you know, I was pretty successfully closing the door and I was okay with it. I went to Kajabi, my CRM system, and I gave notice of cancellation, which, you know, so by June 25th, whenever that would be the cutoff date, and I would just disappear all of it. And I'm like, cool with it. And then this little handway, a little voice rung out, someone named Lena Salonikas. And many of you know Lena, but you know, Lena's been around since Alan died. She, you know, now I'm going to get teary. She was just that lighthouse for me, saying, hey, I still want this, you know, I like this work. And she had read the book, you know, years ago, and she had practiced it. But, you know, it was because of her, I even did another certification program after Alan died. Anyway, in all the conversations of letting go, should I sell? Should I just pull the plug and all of that? She says, I think there's something really important here. And I want to carry the legacy on. So the door is closing for me to carry the legacy on. So that's what today is. I am completing on, I won't be teaching classes anymore. I won't be, you know, doing another SACAD or a STAR or any version thereof. But there are people like Lena who want to. And so she and I have been having lots of discussions. And so there is an opportunity for, you know, if you think you might be someone that wants to carry the legacy on, there is an opportunity, but we'll do that in a different call. Today was really just for me to complete and tell you that I didn't pull the plug, or I'm not pulling the plug on June 25th. there is, I reactivated my Kajabi account. So I've got another month or whatever I want. But anyway, so I thought it was very interesting that what the soul wants, it will tell you. The soul wanted me to do this with Lena and maybe a few others. And we just, we're calling it a licensed legacy keeper. So it would be a legacy keeper would be someone that would certify people to do strategic attraction planning. And so Lena's already gearing up for her first certification program. She and I have been collaborating about this idea for how many years? At least 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to let her talk in a minute, but I just wanted to say, Lena's the lighthouse, keeping the light on for the message. And, you know, if it's just her, it's just her. She'll be okay with that, but there could be others. I have a feeling. And she already has her first certification student is ready to get in the program that'll start soon. But as far as Jan, what is Jan going to be doing next? It's really not clear. It's really not, you know, it's not all spelled out. But there's kind of some interesting things have been showing up. Like, for example, you know, I love synchronicity and spontaneity. You know, that makes me tick. My cat is going to just annoy me through this whole call. Anyway, there's supposedly, I haven't met him yet, but a man in Pagosa Springs who's genius level, probably physically is on his way out, but from my friend is his legacy keeper for his message. So anyway, she and I were talking and she was visiting. She's coming in today, actually. We're going to visit some more about it. So I want to learn, you know, about what else is out in the world, what other, you know, I've been a student of law of attraction for all these years. I've been a student of energy. What else? You know, the world has changed. There's beyond the beyond, you know, there's bigger truths, more, not bigger truths, but there's more truths for me to look towards and see, you know, where I will, you know, what I will do with that. And certainly sacred synchronicity is happening all the time. And I might develop that even further. I might not. I really don't know. So that I'm in that void that's going to be created is I close this door for me completely. And I will, today I officially close that door with you guys as my witness. And then the new door will be to help mentor legacy keepers like Lena and see where that goes. And then I'll let go of that one as well, you know, because I won't need to stay involved that long. So that's my story as I know it today. But I felt like it was really important to, you know, to close the door on where I've been and what I've been doing for 22 years. So that these other doors was open. That was my guidance, is that, you know, as long as you got one foot, you know, one toe over here, the big new door will not open. So anyway.
I'm glad I was here to see
Yeah.
this.
Thanks,
I
Barbara.
did have on my calendar that it was the last one, and I've only been to a few, maybe 2 or 3. So, but I was like, I really want to see this. I'm glad I could, you know, be here to hear you share that with us.
What did it mean for you? Did it spark something for you?
I don't know. I take a lot of things. I take notes. I don't go back and look, but obviously, you know, there's something really real about you that I could tell your passion for what you do and what you're trying to create. And so I had a sense that you were just kind of doing deep things for people, but I wasn't really a part of it.
Mm.
So I just wanted to be here and catch, soak up a little of that.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I love that.
I'd
Martina,
love to share.
let's see, Martina, then you, Carolyn, if that's okay.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Oh, Jan. This is sad, but awesome news as well. And I understand what you were saying. 1 foot, it's like I have that analogy of comfort carpet. You got one on the comfort carpet and the other one, and it's that transition.
Mhm.
But once you move that, then it's just like magical and everything flows to you. I just have a couple of shares that just from your training. The first one was my son lives in Australia. And if you know anything about traveling last year, in order to get there, I needed to have a permission to get into the country, a permission for this and that. It was a ton of paperwork. And I wanted to get there because they just had their first baby.
Mhm.
And he really wanted me there because he's from New Zealand and no one could travel at the time, but he really wanted me to be there. So I put a map of where they lived in front of my computer, and I imagined myself walking down the street to the beach. I imagined myself holding the baby. I imagined just being there and just visualized and all of that as if it was already happening. And there was one obstacle after the next. And long story short, I finally got all the paperwork and was able to go and visit him. 4 plane rides. And I was only going to stay for 5 weeks, and my husband said, "No, stay for 3 months." And I was like, "Okay." I'll take you up on that. I only was 2.5, but I had another son in New Zealand, and for him to get over as well, it was like he would have had to go into quarantine, and what was the other thing? But how it flowed was I got there, I didn't have to go into quarantine. I was able to just go over. I stayed for 3 days just to make sure my results were clear and that. My son was able to come over. They dropped the quarantine so that he can come over. And then when he was over there, he didn't have to go in quarantine going back. So everything just flowed totally perfectly, harmoniously. And when I was in Australia, I'm officially retired and collecting Social Security starting October. However, I'm not ready to, it's like unretired, retired. And I said, and I remember the one call that you did about having your soulful tribe. And correct me if I'm wrong. I remember you saying something that you don't have to write it down. You just have to just know that. And so I visualized who I wanted as my soulful tribe and exact days, times, and how that was going to happen. And when I came back, I had like one phone call, another phone call, and another phone call, and I have my perfect tribe right now, and my perfect hours, and my perfect schedule. And it's like, thank you, Jan, for that. And then just one more. The one client that I had, her husband passed away a couple years ago, and she was one of them that called and wanted to train with me. And she was almost ready to start dating, but she wasn't sure. And I said, let's just focus on you first. And so we did that for like almost a year. And then she wanted to meet this guy, and he was kind of serious. And I said, well, let's do this. And we did the first step of the attraction plan. And I said, just ideally write down what you want. And then the next day she came over and she says, I did it with him. I said, what? She goes, yeah. He was like, what are you doing? I want to do that too. So they both did it. And then they compared, and now they're engaged and they're getting married. So again, thank you, Jan, for just a wonderful gift that's helped so many people. And in my life, many people that I've come in contact with and used that tool and shared that tool along with, and what it's done for them. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm. So happy stories. And good to see everyone here. It was 4 years ago that we were in Santa Fe.
I was just thinking about that. Annie and Carolyn,
Carolyn and
Martina,
Carrie.
Carrie,
Carrie,
Yeah.
and right before that,
And we met, her name just dropped out of my head.
I'm trying to think of her name too.
She just left. She was on her way to move as well. She was just here.
oh,
Marina?
Christina.
You're talking about
Christina,
Marina?
yes.
Yes, Christina. Yes.
Yeah, we met her there too.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
We went
And,
for lunch.
The 2 weeks before that, I had moved to a new house
Hmm.
and I got sick. Like,
Yeah.
so it's like the week before the retreat, I was just like sick as a dog. I mean, like the worst sick, and I'm sure it was all the emotions of leaving the house that Alan and I shared. And my friend Reba texted me early in the week. She said, "Oh, I think I can come in for the weekend." And I'm like, "Oh no, don't come. I am really sick. Don't come. Don't come." Super sick. Anyway, I was sick all week. Got sick on a Sunday. I was running fever, the worst kind of sick. Anyway, Friday morning, she says, "I'll be there at 1 o'clock." And she drives from Houston, and that's like a 14-hour drive. And I'm like, "I told you I was sick." She says, "Yes, dear, I know. I'm coming to help you get well." And she's a healer. So she was my healer in Houston. Anyway, and then Carrie, he texted, he would be there, I think a day or two early. And I'm like,
Sunday night.
it was, yeah, Reba came in Friday, Carrie came in Sunday. I hadn't even unpacked boxes, the guest room he could stay in, but I'm like, find the bed, you're on your own. I'm too sick to.
The bed had half, it was a double, bed or a queen bed or whatever, but there was only enough room for me to be sleeping on one side because the other side was full of boxes and other stuff on it.
And I was too sick to fuss over, having a house. But then the retreat would start, on Wednesday, I think?
It was Wednesday. We went out to the spa.
We went to Ojo to see if the mineral springs would help me. Anyway, what I usually do before a retreat, I have the notebooks, I have the agenda, I have everything planned out. I have my book, tells me what I'm going to do. And I didn't have any of that. I didn't have supplies. I didn't have food. I didn't do any of the things that I usually do before a retreat. And I didn't have the bandwidth. So when y'all got there, I just said, I just kind of have to tell you the truth. And so we focused on the attraction plan for the next few days. And it couldn't have gone any better than any other retreat if that had all the other fuss over it. So that was the last retreat I've ever done. So
it was sweet, that retreat. That was really great to have that special time with everybody. When I think of this journey, like I always felt like you got from, having the clarity, you would just feel lit up like the lighthouse, right? You would get your juice and mojo from the clarity. I find myself still, it's like, I'd like to listen to one of that. In fact, about less than 3 weeks ago, I did step one again. It's like, okay, I'm in Chelan, so I don't have all my SACAT stuff like I would if I was home in Edmonds. But, I really loved all those years and all that different times being together. I always found like it really was a spiritual thing because you had such gratitude and you noticed the good and you had more synchronicity in your life. In fact, there's just sitting here this morning, there's a boat that I really want. And I prayed for this boat that I would get the perfect boat at the perfect price. And I'm kind of a little on the fence. I got some other stuff going on in life. And it just that boat went in front of me just while we were here. I know that's kind of, whatever, but I'm like, I notice what I know, you're more aware, you're mindful, like like others have talked about. And as you talk about, you know, how synchronicity happened with what day you picked, Jan. Today is my 22nd anniversary in the wellness business. Today, 22 years today.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
it's kind of wild, huh?
That is really wild. Wow.
And I mean, it has its different phases, and you know, I too get to now have my Social Security, but I couldn't live on my Social Security. So I love that I get to just be kind of part-time how I want to do it. And it took years to build that up. Like it wouldn't have been that way if I didn't. And I know that this was a big part of that, a big part of attracting the kind of people I wanted in my life. So thank you. Thank you for all the good times and all the spiritual journey and all the blessings of each one of you.
Thanks, Carolyn.
I have a 10 o'clock call too, so I'm gonna have to jump off in
You
a
gotta
minute.
go, I know.
Yeah,
But there are a few more people haven't shared yet, but here to hear it if you have a minute. And if you need to go, I understand that too, but we'll be in touch. Don't be strangers. We won't be strangers.
congratulations, Lena, on taking it forward. I
you.
really, I'm that,
She's
yield.
good. You can
So-
review with Lena, you know, that if you're,
Yeah.
if you want to be in the energy again, guess we'll send an email and how to get
Yeah,
involved with that, but that'll be coming up in.
yeah. And actually, I will go ahead and drop into the chat my calendar link if you just want to talk about doing it again.
Yeah,
Just
that's
set up
probably, we're
some
just
time.
old schooling it. We don't have all the
Yeah.
fancy stuff now. So if you're interested, just copy her link and chat with her about it.
Yeah, exactly.
You are going to
Oh.
download a CSV of your list though, right? Before you.
Yeah,
go live.
I will. Mhm.
Yep.
Too good of a
Namaste, everybody.
resource
Bye-bye.
there.
Bye,
Bye,
Carolyn.
Carolyn. Much love. Well,
Mm.
Johnny
Something
Fiducci.
quick, 'cause I'm
Okay,
gonna have to go soon myself.
okay. Well,
So I just want to say, you know, it's so funny listening to all the stories about, you know, all the classes and connections we've had together. And I'm, you know, still thinking about all the people I still continue to work with. You know, I work very closely with Mark. I'm doing a workshop with Ken Stone this weekend. So I mean, it still goes on. And I use so much of what I learned from you in video
Mhm.
to this day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I reconnected with Ken Stone recently and
they're
now,
neat.
and we were talking about John. I'm like, well, where's
And I
John?
think-
I need to reconnect with John. And
So I feel like I kind of got that connection
Mhm.
beforehand, so I don't want to take a lot of time for people who might want to still have that. But thank you, Jim.
Thanks, John. Glad you came. I know you had to shift your schedule a little to be here. So.
And I'll be talking to you too later.
All right. Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Carrie, have you said anything? You want to say something?
I haven't. And I'm been debating. Actually, the practical side of me says, oh, this is a good, these stories that would be good marketing things that
I thought of that too. Of course.
because that, the energy that's generated, with Julie, gosh, 10, whatever the years when you did it, for me, it's, 7, 8 years from 2015,
20 years.
yeah, 20 years, there we go.
20 years was when I
years.
first met Jan's work.
Yeah,
20
and,
years.
the
Unbelievable.
success that I've seen it produce with various people is to, maybe it's done one-on-one with Nancy Fields and some of the others, that you get their impression and then put it together as some way of letting people know what, because for me, what I realized is more than just taking, attracting the relationship you want. I find, especially since the 70s when I was doing a lot of personal development, this is one of the best personal development tools that's out there. And, the idea of, Martina going to Australia, what the personal development, what you had to go through to have that clarity. And that's, that's the key that I use in, talking to my clients is with clarity, you have choice. So when you're clear, then you have the choice, and that's where the strategic part of having the plan, and then the synchronicity is the universe makes it all work. So yeah, all that comes from the head, and you guys talked about from the heart, but that's where I see this going. Is sort of you start the process because you want to attract a mate, but then you have to change so much in yourself that you really develop that you do find the perfect mate. Anyway, that's it for me.
Well, I think everybody had a scoop, but Lena, I would love for you to wrap us up today.
All right. Wow, there's just so much to share, honestly.
Yeah.
It's when I first came across the book, I was doing my coaching training at Coach U, and somebody had mentioned it. And so I went and grabbed it and read it and loved it. And this was 20 years ago, over 20 years ago. And I remember my boyfriend at the time had just decided to go ahead and go off on his own, quit his corporate job and go off on his own, was struggling. And I'm like, let's get clear about what you're actually doing here. And just took him through the process. And literally he nailed a $20,000 contract the next day. This was 20 years ago. And that just shows the power of it. And I've just always loved it. Having been in the training industry for over 20 years, almost 30 years now, and having been coaching for a big portion of that as well, and just thrown myself into personal development, kind of like Carrie said, there's just nothing like it. There's elements of this that are just, that are missing in other things. And one of my favorite parts about this is the working on yourself part. Because there's that, that step of who are you in all this and getting there. And when it comes to relationships, it's not just about business. It's not just about your partner, your ideal partner. I've used it even to say, well, what kind of relationship, what's my perfect relationship with my higher self? Because I know that that's got to get me working on me to connect better. And so there's just so many places to do it. So I'm just really excited. I couldn't see it just fold. Never wanted to. So I'm excited to be able to help carry that torch forward and be that lighthouse. I love the fact that where I live right now, I'm about a 15-minute walk from the lake. And when I walk down there, I see this old decrepit lighthouse that's just still standing there at the corner, which is really neat. And just a constant reminder for me. And I know that there's just a lot of possibility of what can go forward. And I've got a lot of vision Jen and I are talking about with it. Keep people connected, keep going. Jan alluded to the class starting soon, and that'll be starting on August 24th for the regular certification one. And then the Legacy Keepers will send out an email about talking more about that. and so on. But it has been such a honor for me to work with Jan and to really, I mean, just find somebody that's an incredible friend and colleague and someone that we bounce things off of each other. And that's just amazing. And I am so grateful for that. And so looking forward to really keeping in touch with everybody and seeing where everything goes.
Well,
So
Yeah.
feels like a win-win to me.
Yeah.
So I chatted with you, Lena, but Joanne was here basically because I said that this was going to be talking about the training program. And I don't, Jan said something about we've got, the first 3 people get a good discount.
Yes.
And I'd like to put her on the potential list of being one of those 3.
Okay.
And somehow, maybe with your link, we can set up a time for the 3 of us to chat.
Okay. Yeah.
Like be in that call at the same time,
Absolutely.
see what she wants to do.
Okay. That would be great. And Jan, do you mind if I go ahead and mention, what we're talking price wise and everything and the discount and so on?
Please.
It's all about your closure, so I don't want to, go into too much. So yeah, we're looking at the first 3 people who sign up for it would be at $497. So that's a great discount for regular person. Full price would be $1997, so $1,997. And for anybody who's just resitting, reviewing it, you're all at the $497 rate anyway. So just to know that. And it would be great to get the energy, reignited.
And we already have one person.
Yeah, we already have one person.
And basically for 2 new people, there are more spots. So anyway.
So,
well, I think we're a wrap for today. And anything anybody else wants to say or comment?
Thank you, Jan. Good seeing you again. And Lena, congratulations for carrying on the
Thank you.
torch. Appreciate that for sure. When you said you're going to close down Kajabi, I was like, what? I still go back and reference.
Do you? That's good.
That was one of my thoughts too. I'm like, well, even if you're going to close it down, I still have to download everything and make that accessible.
That's what I was thinking. I'm going,
This
wait, I
stuff
got to download
anyway.
all that? Oh. No, I always go back and I reference and refresh and
Oh, good.
go through
I
my
had
notes.
no idea. So that's really
Yeah.
cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's very, very powerful stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Might have to pass that torch.
I will be. Yeah, I'll definitely pass the torch on the Kajabi
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. In the meantime, I guess we download as much as we can.
It wouldn't hurt. Go ahead and download a few things. But,
Yeah.
There's actually still a whole, what do you call it? Archive for when Alan was involved.
Yeah, I watched those too.
And that's on the website.
And there's also a powerful one that, I got Alan's head in my name. Your friend that passed away not too long ago. He has a
Alan
very powerful.
Davidson?
Yes.
Yeah.
He has a very powerful video on there too.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that.
On the archive?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Let's go watch that.
Good treasures on there.
Yeah, I haven't peeked in there for a while, so I'll do that. So good to know.
Well, keep me on your list.
Yep.
Keep me on your list. Put me on the
All
new
right,
list.
You're on the list as far as I know, but we'll send out an email after this, I guess, to, give people connection.
Well, I put a friend request for Lena, so.
Okay.
Be my friend.
I'll be going in there.
We got a lot of, details to work out, but it'll get there, and we're not in a humongous rush. So, all right. Well, Ciao for now. Love you. Thank you for being
Yes,
here.
thank
Thank
so much,
you.
everyone.
One more silent applause.
Little, standing ovation. Okay.
Take
All
care,
right.
everyone.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Much love. Bye for now.
All right. Ciao.
See you around the campus.
Yes.